One of my favorite parts of the week, Cooper Mays, the Vol Report, brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. Integrity Matters, 50 years in East Tennessee. So we're going to talk about Tennessee's defense, which this just in is really good. Cooper's practice against them, his play that I kept an eye on Coop, and he was darn dominant against NC State. Also, the rest of Tennessee's offensive line and remaining focused when you might not have the greatest opponent in front of you and you've got an SEC game and an Oklahoma trip out there. But we got all that to get to. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button. We greatly appreciate that. Cooper, how are you, sir?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm well. Buddy, I gotta be honest with you. I've always thought you gave great effort, no question about it. That's been noted by many people, including Cole Kubalik at one point earlier in your career. But in particular, I saw a small bit of a fiery speech you gave before the game. And then I watched you. I just decided when the game got a little bit one sided, I was going to watch you play. And I'm not sure I've seen you play a better game. Just talk about the day, and I know you want to talk team, and we'll get to that. But you personally, how did the day go for you?
I did pretty good. There's definitely a couple plays I would love to have back, but you know, you can't do it perfectly, I guess. So, but we'll clean it up. We'll get better. Be
You
back next week.
you had one block that it was the Nico run, um, that you actually turned the guy all the way around and were blocking him the other direction back towards the pocket. That was pretty impressive.
Got to know where to lose. I know where the ball's going usually, so I can figure it out.
That's right. And how much does that? Well, I didn't think you lost there. Wait a second. You didn't lose there. You pushed him you did a complete 180 with him.
No, I mean I won, but I lost. I lost in the right place at the end.
I got you. Okay. Well, I thought it was darn impressive. Okay. So having that, yeah, let me speak to that a second. Having that chemistry in the interior of the offensive line and knowing that sort of thing, how much does that help in terms of knowing where everybody's going to be? Because you've got experience in the middle.
Oh, it's invaluable. You gotta have chemistry. Really, yeah, the interior, but all five got to be playing in unison and know what each other are doing and know what they're doing. So if things don't go the right way, if it moves after the snap, then you can figure stuff out. It's all about process of elimination and figuring out the best way to get it done.
Andre Keurig, there was a little bit of a question because he was banged up in preseason, whether or not he would be the starter there. It appears like he's locked that position down. How would you describe his play?
I think he plays really really hard, and he's an athletic guy that has gotten a lot better in the last year, and he's just doing a really good job. I like playing next to him, and he makes a center feel comfortable in there.
What's been the difference? Where has he improved, you think, to elevate his play?
Um, Man, I think just being healthy and getting stronger, just kind of just getting better at all things. I mean, he's a guy that already is blessed with a lot of athleticism and natural leverage and everything, and he understands the game. But just getting stronger and remaining healthy, that's the biggest thing for him.
And that's so important for your entire team and this front line. Who are some guys that you feel comfortable if they had a play that are not starters currently that are kind of on the second string?
Oh man, trying to think right now. I guess that would be Dane, Larry, Sat, Lamp is in that group, I guess, a little bit. I don't know. I feel like all we've kind of built it up, and really not we. Coach Ellerby has built it up and recruited it up to be two strings of guys that could play, and then you got some six man type stuff that we have going on, maybe some seventh man stuff where you got guys that kind of rotate in and shuffle in with if need be. So we're pretty comfortable. We know how it goes, man. If you're a two, then that means you're one play away from being a starter, and it doesn't get more serious than being a backup.
Yeah, true. So you feel comfortable with your depth then.
I do, yes.
Tell me about Glenn Ellerby. All the times that we've talked, I don't think we've discussed Ellerby much. What, because he's done a great job. What kind of coach is he?
He's a great coach that just comes in and hammers the details home and makes sure that you're in the best position possible to be successful and give our team the best shot at being successful. Does everything the right way consistently. Just that's kind of a common theme with our staff. Everybody's consistent with who they are every day and how they coach, but Ellerby for sure, he's one of the best at what he does in the whole country. Like, I truly think that I wouldn't be near the player I am without him. And another guy, Coach Ablin. Coach Ablin helped me a lot with my development early in my career. He's with the Titans now, but um, yeah, man, they're fantastic coaches and great guys.
How specifically have those two guys helped you in your career? Is it neck up or neck down in terms of fundamentals and technique, or
Kind of just all around. I've kind of always felt the game. They've given me like the why and kind of given me the just the rhyme and reason. But I've always kind of felt the game around me decently. But with technique and stuff, especially Abe's, like when they came in my sophomore year, my true sophomore year, and I was the starting center at that point. Man, just had a ton of bad habits that needed to be broken and needed to be trained down and kind of fine tuned up. And obviously Ellerby was critiquing me, but behind the scenes, Abe's was like kind of the center's coach, in my opinion. Like he helped us so much and was always with us, coaching up the little fine details. You've only got so much time in big meetings, but when you break away into these little the smaller meetings where somebody's actually getting hands on coaching with you, you got to take full advantage of it and listen to it and apply it, because if you don't do that, man, you'll not get very far.
what was your habit that you look back on that you regret the most? I'm gonna give you a second to think about that. What was it in your play that you're like, man, I can't believe I used to do that? It's brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning, cityheatandair.com. Integrity matters. They've been in East Tennessee for over 50 years. Cityheatandair.com. Another HVAC company might say you need a whole new unit so they can make thousands. City Heating and Air Conditioning will say it might need just a part or some coolant, and they'll take care of you. As you look back, Cooper, over your career, what's something you did before that you're like, man, I can't believe I used to do that?
I think just not really understanding the backers and how my technique had to, and eyes and body and everything had to deviate based on where the backer location would be. Not every combination is the same. Like not every block's the same. Like you would have two 3 down pictures or two 4 down pictures that play out completely different with the same calls and everything, just based off of where the linebacker is and how that affects your eyes and your body positioning and everything. So back in the day, I used to be pretty bad at having my eyes front side, especially in 3 down fronts. Couldn't get it done. Um, got me messed up some.
Well, that's interesting. So I'll be honest with you. I've covered football, certainly haven't played center, but I would have thought you would have just been kind of in charge of the defensive line, but you're also the way you play. When can you see the linebackers and identify them? Can you still see them when you're about to snap?
Yeah, you should. I mean, if you don't, you're in a bad state of affair. That's for sure. Unless you're man on one, obviously you don't have to look at the backers at that point. But yeah, the backers tell you the story. They're giving you. I mean, obviously there's keys to every play, but if you basically, the best way you can look at it is the backers tell the whole story for what the D line's going to do after the snap. Especially like that and the safeties. You can predetermine. There's only so many ways to play defense. So if you have, a head up nose right here and a backer right here, and you guys are combination blocking this way, well, if this backer gets wide and starts creeping down, that means that the four eye is going to hit him this way, and he's going to play that gap. So, I mean, everybody fits in relation to one another if you're not busting the play. But yeah. So
Interesting. Let me ask you this too. Just in terms of playing a three-man front, which you did last week,
right.
how different was that? How better suited are you to handle that than you might have been previously in your career?
Um, obvious, honestly, like I rather play four down fronts, me personally, because I don't have a guy head up on me every play. I mean, last week it was kind of just me one on one with the nose, just fighting for my life, kind of. So that's kind of tough, but somebody's got to do it. So I'm the man for the job.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you this. So this was actually, even though you guys won one-sided, maybe one of your more physical games because of the alignment.
For sure. Yeah, it was a doozy. That's for sure.
Wow, how you feeling?
Man, old.
What? Wait till you hit 50. I mean, that's a,
Hopefully I'm not doing this at 50. Hopefully I've
you'll
hopefully
be,
I've calmed down a little bit till then.
no, you'll be like the Tom Brady. You'll play a long time, and then you'll be a great broadcaster if you want to.
Man, that would be a blessing, Lord willing.
You can do that. What are you doing when the defense is on the field? Are you just catching your breath? Are you talking to Nico? Because I don't know if you're aware, but you all have a really good defensive line.
We're definitely aware. But we
Wow.
don't watch them very much, but we're aware. We played them for a good few weeks.
Yeah.
Thoroughly figured out how that went. You know.
Yeah. You have, and I wonder at what point in the off season you said they can not only be good, but they can be very deep.
As soon as we started fall camp, I mean, I've seen a lot of defensive lines and played a lot of folks, so I kind of know how it feels when you're playing a team like that, and when you're playing a group like that. It's not very often that they come around and that you can play with that many bodies at such a high level. You know what I'm saying? It's usually you got a couple of dogs up front, and then after that there's a drop off. But with our guys, you got three strings of guys that come in there and wreak havoc a little bit.
As an offensive lineman, what's that like when you're I know they can't switch on you guys during the series because you don't allow for substitutions, but just to have another fresh guy, a fresh pair out there. I know you face teams somewhat like that. How challenging is that when everybody's fresh?
Yeah, challenging, but it's also a mental thing. Obviously a O line's not going to get any subs right there, right? Like you just said. No, I mean our offense or really any offense, nobody's going to sub all of offensive linemen at the middle of the drive. So I mean, when you're 6 or 7 plays deep and you're about to die out there, and you see two guys come in there fresh, just ready to go, been sitting there for a good 15 minutes, just chilling, catching their breath, drinking water. It's terrible. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're just like, dude, I'd rather us just like take a timeout or something. You know what I'm saying? Do something to help me. Which luckily our guys with our offense, nobody gets to come off the field. So everybody gets to suffer out there together. We all get to feel the pain, feel the breath leaving our bodies, and everybody can kind of just do their best off of that. And nobody gets to substitute in fresh, and it's just a great time.
Hey, this may be a stupid question, and if so, you can say, Dave, you're stupid. Um, but do you scout opposing defensive tackles specifically and what they do and their moves? Are they a bull rush guy? Are they smaller and quicker? And if so, or do you scout the second team and like you guys have? I mean, how do you scout opposing players and what they do best?
We have cut ups of every D lineman's pass rush that they have, how they play run plays, specific cut ups of that player, what they do best. We scout people. I mean, everybody in the country should be doing that, obviously, but
Right.
yeah,
So,
we scout everybody thoroughly.
well, it was going back to that mental thing too. That so you have to be cognizant of Bob does this and Tom does this a little bit more than just I got to block this guy.
Yep, and then you got to do the same thing with the linebackers and the DNs for sure. You prepare all week for it. And we've even got our scout team guys. They watch film of the defense that we're playing, and they'll figure out how they play, and then we'll put a guy that matches up with the body type that we're going to play, and we'll tell them, hey, bud, all week when you feel pass, work the long arm or work the cross chop, whatever, whatever his thing is. Every rusher is different, but usually they lean towards one style of rushing or one specific move that they like.
Interesting. So how does this defensive line compare? You faced them in practice, but how does it compare to some of the best that you faced in your career?
They're up there. They're most definitely up there. Like, would hate to play our defense in a game,
Wow.
honestly.
Is it just the depth or the athleticism, or what is it about them that makes them so daunting?
Well, the depth, yes, like they got three strings of guys that can play high quality football. That's the biggest point. But all of our guys play different. Like, usually you kind of recruit kind of one style of guys that you like. If you're a guy, usually teams have two big dudes that clog up the middle that they like to just kind of have blockage up front and whatever. But our guys, you've got Big E. First of all, he's a problem because he can speed rush and he can power rush and play off of each one. Um, Eason, he's got the same thing. Same thing. Omar is one of the most disruptive linemen in the country. Like, I don't think people realize how good Omar Normalot is. Like, that kid's gonna get drafted very high one day, pretty soon. And then, that's not even getting into the DNs. Like, that's just the interior of the D line. You got all these guys that can do such different things, and you got to prepare for all of them. So it's a challenge.
It's pretty impressive. He's Cooper Mays. I'm Dave Hooker. But best of luck, obviously, against Kent State. A great start to the season, and we certainly appreciate you making time for us. And but it's shaping up to be an exciting year.
Hope so, man. I think that's the plan.
The Vol Report brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning, cityheatandair.com. Integrity matters. 50 years in East Tennessee. He's Cooper Mays. I'm Dave Hooker. This is a presentation of Off the Hook Sports.